Good morning and welcome to the celebration space. My name is Kaylee Phelps, and today on Coffee with Kaylee, we are going to be talking about 5 ways to cultivate gratitude daily as we are in this week of Thanksgiving 2020, one of arguably the most odd years and odd weeks for this holiday. So figuring out ways that we can cultivate gratitude is really important, not only for our mental health, but also for our physical health. And if you don't believe me, go ahead and give it a Google. Look up how expressing gratitude daily can really help you mentally and physically. So we're gonna run through 5 different things, and then I have a little bonus for you at the end. The first few things are going to be more written ways to practice gratitude, and then we're gonna talk about how to practice gratitude more in your body, and then, like I said, get into that little bonus. So we're gonna start with a gratitude jar. So you can see I have my little mason jar here, and this actually has a bunch of little notes that Tyler and I have written to each other that are on different pieces of paper. You might be able to tell white and yellow. And really, if you've ever been to camp and you had an affirmation thing where throughout the week or throughout the weekend, you write cute little notes to people and put it in their little envelope or, you know, their little paper bag. This is really the same idea, but just practicing it with the people that you live with and that you love. So this is something that you can do with your kids. Just write a little note, and then on Thanksgiving or each week, or save it for a rainy day. Or I know people who do this on the week after January 1st, they write something and put it in the jar each week. So together, sitting down for a whole year, and maybe you could start this after Thanksgiving, where you write down something you're grateful for each week, and then next Thanksgiving, you can pull out all of your favorite things from, 52 things that you loved throughout that year. So you have a built-in gratitude practice to each week, and then you can open it up, or you can practice it daily. You might want to get a bigger jar than this, but that is just my number one thing, just to start with practicing gratitude. If you don't want to journal, which is my next item, that's something that you can start with and really make it personalized to each person, or practice it as a family or as a couple or as a household to really put those things in. So my next things I've talked about for a while, I have 2 notebooks that I practice every single day, this one for the morning, this one for the evening, and both of them have built-in gratitude practice. I am not sponsored by either of these products or really have any affiliation with them. Beyond that, I think that they're really great. So the first one is the Rachel Hollis Start Today Journal, and it really is a gratitude practice built in with goals. So goal setting. So you start every day with 5 things you're grateful for, and then you write down 10 dreams or goals that you are making happen. And there's a whole practice at the start of this journal that helps you to determine what 10 goals you might want to write down each day, and you write them down as if they've already happened. So you're kind of tricking your brain into not thinking like, oh, I'm always going to be striving for this. You're always going to be, accomplishing that in the moment. I just saw Lyman's comment. Thank you, Lyman. I'm gonna have to reach out and see if I can get a sponsor. So that is the number one. I do this one in the morning, and it's 5 things that you're grateful for in the last 24 hours. The second one, I really love the Vertilist Journal. Even if you're not really a goal focused person, I think this has been a lifesaver for me in terms of just processing my day. So I do it in the evenings, and I'm just going to open up to a random topic. It's 13 weeks of prompts, so it's 7 prompts for 13 weeks. And this one, as you can see, it starts with a little quote, and then it goes to what are you grateful for at this moment, what is going well, what could be better. It has a little thing, what was your best decision in recent times and what is the effect of that. And then really just going through and reflecting on your day, and then you can rank it at the bottom. At the end of each week, you kind of do the average of what your week looked like, so you kind of know how you balance each day. It's funny because when I was a manager, we would do something similar with something called 15-5, where it asked 15 questions that you could answer in 5 minutes. And it's interesting because my average is like a 4 or a 5 out of 5, or like a 9 or a 10 out of 10. And then it was interesting because everyone has their own average of what that looks like. But I love this. It's a really great practice, especially during quarantine when all of the days seem to run kind of the same. Practicing gratitude, writing it down, and then reflecting on your day. It's not like, oh, I didn't get anything done today. It's like, oh no, look at all the things when I plot out from morning until evening that I got done today, and kind of just also unwinding your brain so you're not staring at the ceiling, having trouble falling asleep. And as per usual, you don't have to use either of those journals or buy anything to practice gratitude. You can use a good old composition journal, which I have right here, and just write down 5 or 10 things that you're grateful for each day. That's gonna, really just help you feel good, and you can even reflect on your day in here. You can write down goals in here. You can practice everything that you can do in those 2 products. You can practice for free in this. And I also talked about those 2 products a little bit more in Organizing My Headspace video. So if you're curious more about that, go ahead and jump in there. So that is number 2, practicing with journals. I gave a couple of resources there. Number 3 is doing a gratitude grid. So you can see I kind of set this up now. This is not something that Tyler and I have been practicing, mostly because we've been on our jar game. But this is something that I think is especially cool to do if you have kids or a lot of people in your home, where you can write down as a family something that, you can put the days of the week, I put them on here, or you can just have a grid and write through it. And really, this is something you can practice every day. And when you get to the end of it, maybe you skip days, maybe you forget, maybe you're traveling, maybe you're doing different things. But once you get to the end of it, then you sit down, look at all the things you've been grateful for whatever period of time. And then you can kind of do a little accomplishment or party or incentive. Maybe you do a, you buy your kids a Switch game or a movie, or you order in food or do a pizza party, or you do something kind of fun when you get to the end of that grid. And if it's just you and your partner, or your kids are grown, it can be something that looks a little bit different, whatever is going to make kind of be an incentive, especially if you're working with people that don't necessarily want to practice gratitude. Having the grid and having it on your refrigerator, or having it on your bathroom mirror, the back of your front door, something where you're going to see it all the time and you can practice it regularly and work towards a goal collectively, is really going to incentivize a little bit more of that gratitude, and it's going to make you feel good and create a nice routine. So those are my 3 things that are really writing focus. My next idea is something that everyone can do, which is practicing gratitude in all 5 of your senses every day. So at the end of the day, maybe it's in your gratitude grid, maybe it's in your journal, maybe it's in, whatever you're doing, maybe it's in your jar, or maybe you do it at dinner each night where you talk about my favorite thing that I smelled. Smell is very heavily related with memory. So maybe it's, hey, I smelled a vanilla candle and it reminded me of my grandma. Or I, touched, taste. I am forever grateful for my coffee each morning, and I'm going to talk a little bit more about this in the next topic, but Thich Nhat Hanh is a monk, a Tibetan monk, who has a really great quote about tea meditation and about sipping a cup of tea and meditating on all the things you're grateful for, trying to stay in the moment. And really, it can take an hour, he says, for a monk to enjoy a cup of tea if you're really staying present and being really thoughtful of each tea sip that you're going through. So then, what physically you did, maybe it was, I went for a walk and I got outside. Anything you can really, relating gratitude to getting back into your body will keep you present in this time of notifications and the world spinning out of control and passing us by. Staying present, gratitude's going to help you do that, and really trying to incorporate a gratitude practice into your 5 senses and into your body is also going to help you. Also make you grateful, that I have the ability to go outside and kick around some leaves or do whatever it is that you're grateful for with those 5 senses. And lastly, kind of in that same vein, is doing a physical gratitude practice. So that could be doing something like the tea gratitude practice I just mentioned from Thich Nhat Hanh. I highly recommend, I don't have it written down, the quote right here, but I highly recommend looking it up. Then doing a gratitude walk, so doing something where you walk and you either meditate on one word like gratitude or thankful or blessed, and just kind of trying to repeat that word with each step as you're walking, or doing kind of an I Spy challenge if you're out and about with a child and saying, tell me one thing that you can see right now that you're grateful for, or doing something like that while you're outside is really powerful. For me, I've been a dancer my whole life, so something I like to do is there are a bunch of gratitude playlists on Spotify. So I am a Spotify gal. I'm sure you can find them on Pandora or on YouTube or anywhere that you like to listen to your music. But having a playlist or creating one of your own that really has songs that make you feel grateful. The one that always comes to mind for me is Always Stay Humble and Kind. But just really having songs that are going to make you feel really grateful, and then maybe dancing it out, maybe doing, some yoga, maybe, I know there's a Peloton playlist, so physical practice. Then lastly, so those are the 5 things I want to recommend. Just to recap, it's gratitude jar, and whether you want to do that daily, weekly, and if you want to do that starting on Thanksgiving Day or starting in New Year's and really kind of cultivate that practice. Journaling, I provided a couple different journals that I use, and you can always practice gratitude in your own just composition journal. A gratitude grid, which you can practice with those in your home and really go through working towards a collective goal, or talking things over at dinner and writing them in. Then, cultivating gratitude around your 5 senses, really getting into your body and practicing what you can do and that you have all 5 senses. Then also doing a gratitude walk, a gratitude bike, a gratitude yoga, incorporating a playlist or a kind of meditation where you can physically move your body and make that a part of your routine. And my last bonus, as promised, is something that my family always does, is goes around the dinner table on Thanksgiving and talks about what we're most grateful for this year. And I don't know why I always forget, and I'm always scrambling. I'm sitting at the dinner table, eating my cranberry salad, trying to find some inspiration before, it gets around the table to me. But something I really love the idea of, and I got this from Apartment Therapy is doing a holiday cure, and so this is not an original idea, but I love it, is doing a best of 2020 list. So you could do this, especially if you're doing a Zoom holiday dinner, or doing something where you give the categories of a Zoom, best of 2020 list, and it can be the best movie you watched, the best accomplishment that you had, the best life hack, the best daily routine you incorporated, just any different topic that you've really had, the best book you read, any of these things that you want to incorporate, and maybe do a category, and then you can do kind of an award ceremony where people go around and they choose their favorite thing, or you can go by category and go around. You can do something fun, which I love that people have been doing, where they make PowerPoint presentations and really go through and, highlight different things that they love, but making your own best of. We're going to see it all throughout the holiday season from bloggers and influencers. I think Oprah just came out with her favorite things list. So this is really an opportunity to cultivate gratitude in your best of 2020, whether you want to come up with your categories. I'm doing this on Tuesday so that you have a couple days to come up with categories, and then send it to your family, which I think is important so that they're not caught off guard like I always am, despite knowing that that's going to come every year. And then, or you can save it for maybe New Year's Eve, and you can start that list, or ask people what they want their categories to be at Thanksgiving. You can start kind of laying the groundwork for that if you want to do that for, Christmas or Hanukkah, or for, New Year's Eve, or New Year's Day. So that is what I have for you, those 5 daily practices that you can incorporate, and then that one big holiday practice. I hope that this was helpful. If you have any other ways that you practice gratitude that you really love, please don't hesitate to drop them below, and I would love to check them out and see if I can incorporate them into my routine as well. And until next time, enjoy celebrating today.